You are welcome to keep your seat or to stay to join in for the next Global Network Forum discussion. It's about Earth, Moon, Mars, involving everyone. And we have with us quite a good set of speakers, from astronauts, so some visionary, young space professional, a neuroscientist, and even a representative of a planet, so that will come with us on stage to discuss how we connect Earth, the Moon, Mars, to our most pressing needs. So I would like to, everybody is here on stage. Yeah. So I would like to, Checky. Is Checky, are you in orbit? Or did you arrive, Checky Mukai? Yes! Okay, now take your time. Yes, he's coming at orbital speed towards the stage. Yes, Checky Mukai, senior advisor, astronaut from JAXA. Very good. She's also vice chair of Tokyo University's dean, so she's also our scientist on the board. We have Hank Rogers, the chairman of the Blue Planet Foundation, also chairman of the ICES Moon Mars Simulation Facility, and the president of the International Moon Base Alliance from Hawaii, United States. With us, we have Andrea Jaime. She's a business development manager. Please keep the slide with the speakers. And she is working with OHB. Then, yeah? Okay, sorry. Then we have with us Maria Grulich. So she is working at DLR, but she has been sent to us as a representative of the Space Generation Advisory Council. She is also coordinating, for instance, the grant program. So some of you young professionals that received the SGSE grant, she has read your dossier. Now the next is Agata Kolodjecic, and she is a neuroscientist, and she is also an explorer, and she's the founder of the facility called Lunares, where we simulate on Earth how we are going to live on the Moon and Mars. And we have also with us Atiye Javad. She is from Planet. And when I asked her, what is your role in Planet? And she said, I define the future. Wow. So here is Atiye. And she, this is your seat here. This is your seat here. Okay. Okay. So the theme of today is to say, how do we connect what we do by observing the Earth, by studying the Moon and Mars, with activities all over, and how we can involve everyone. So I have started a kind of, we prepared together a set of slides showing that, yes, de facto, we have started to build Earth, Moon, Mars community. This we did for the Moon, for instance, where we sent a probe to the Moon. In Europe, we had one from Japan, we had one from China, from India, from the US, and we work together as a community, actually with a lot of Earth scientists as well. We find a place on the Moon where we could also establish an outpost. And we found even a place where there is almost sunlight. What would be great, like this morning in Bremen. And we put together a roadmap how we are going to establish a robotic village, an outpost, and also a permanent human presence on the 8th continent of the Earth, which is the Moon. So we had rovers there, and actually we developed also some activities where we try to engage the next generation of a young professional, and so we work together with Google and XPRIZE, one of the team, to build a lander that we brought all over the Earth in places that look like the Moon and Mars. So this is what we tested. We are looking also how to bring life out of Earth. And we have done that in space stations. So Jackie and Sing, you have also operated a number of life science experiments. And we want to send some of this life form to the moon and maybe to Mars. So we have this. We had this on board the space station. Some of the sample of life on Earth that are orbiting around the Earth. And we are even thinking to expand that, to have a gallery where we could have science experiments sampled, even art. And so we have launched a campaign from an art gallery on the moon. And we are calling for input from all of you. What could you put on the moon to send a message for future generations? It has to fit in a 1 centimeter cube, though. So you have to miniaturize your input. And we look at the next generation. So we have Earth, the next generation here in the room, but also the next generation of robots that are being tested that on Earth to prepare for future missions. So that's one of the visions of Earth, Moon, Mars village. And so there are a number of activities that we are testing on Earth to bridge between these different worlds. So we do some of it, in our facility. We build a moon habitat close to our workplace, and we put some students there for a few days and let them survive. Some of them are testing how to implant life on another planet. And so we'll hear later by Agatha also about our Lunares facility that she has built in the middle of Poland in a very extreme location where you can simulate isolation and desolation on the moon or Mars. So we have done some tests in Utah where we send every year some team of young professionals doing science, technologies, learning how to live in an habitat and living together. And so they do EVA. We had also with us a representative of ICES, Hank Rogers, the founder of ICES, and he will talk about initiatives to use these ICES facilities also to explore sustainable way to in place settlement on the moon, but also learning on the sustainable solution on Earth. So we do experiments there, we explore underground. We had also some campaign where we have done that in Iceland, and we are looking for your contribution to that. And I would like also to end on another aspect is how we have to involve also other professionals. And this was activity that we organized with artists, designers, fashion artists to see what we would have on the moon. So we try to inspire them. We organize workshops. Here you see some of our astronauts from the moon and Mars. They landed in the middle of the city in Amsterdam together with their lander, and they bridged with the public. Finally, we had also worked with a group of school kids from over 20 countries over the world to produce a cosmic global science opera that was about Moon Village. And they were very creative. You see, they made some costume, and they performed this all over the world. So that leads us to say, how can we build this Earth, Moon, Mars community for exploration, for the public, with robots, with people, for science, for resources, and also preparing the next steps beyond. So that's a little introduction, give you a bit of visual information, but now I would like to ask our speaker now to give a 2-3 minutes statement of how they see how we can involve everyone between Earth, Moon, and Mars. So, who wants to start? So, I propose we start with Jackie, because you have seen the Earth. Yeah, and you have some slide. Okay, we start with Jackie Mukai. So, can you put the slide from Jackie here?
Yeah, thank you, Bernard. Because I have only 3 minutes given, so that I will use the slide so that I can transmit what I want to say clearer to you. So my slide, please.
Yeah, the first slide from Jackie Mukai.
Yeah. Basically, the Bernard given, the task is very difficult. So I will focus on how to engage Earth community to space. using my expertise, which is space medicine, and also introducing SDGs to connect our activities to the Earth. So what is space medicine? And originally, space medicine is for the medicine to support the space flyers. But so that this green part is the one that we have already done, like going to the moon or Mars, etc. But at the same time, space medicine helps a lot to the people living on the Earth, like osteoporosis or mental health, or etc. So we now try to connect the space medicine, helping both space flyers as well as the people living on the Earth. This is the one way, and also quite a lot of people have already known about this UN suggested SDGs, which is a Sustainable Development Goals, and it has a set of 17 goals. And this can be a very good reference to connect our space activities to the activities on the living on the Earth. And then the idea is for all, as the 2030 agenda for sustainable development goals, no one left behind, which good, because which also seeks space program to everybody. So why SDGs for space? Because space derives benefits from the people living on the Earth. If you take a look at the satellite, the rocket system, or maybe the space station, etc., quite a lot of information is returned to the Earth. I would like to take the one example as a space station. Like a space station does a lot of science, telescience, and medical support, and then the education, again, teleeducation can be done on the Earth, and technology for living in space. So this is how I believe we contribute to the space program to the Earth. And recently, our university established the Research Center for Space Colony, targeting on living on the moon. And then we have chosen 3 topics for this space center, as the research center. Those are energy and water and air, recycling or purification, and food. Because energy, water and air, food, they are essential for us to live, and even if it's no matter how it happens, the place doesn't matter. So it definitely connects to the situation, the space, the environment like a moon base can be able to connect to the Earth base. So this is my last slide. And what I would like to suggest is number 1, we have to remove the border between Earth and space. Sometimes we say, oh, this is an Earth environment. Space is different. No. Earth is a part of space. So no border between Earth and space, so that we seamlessly, continuously moving onto the outside of the Earth. The second, bringing space for daily life, connecting the space program to our daily life. And the third one is, to me, it's very important, make everybody aware that we are living and working in space, because Earth is a part of the space environment. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Okay. Beautiful image, blue planet. So then I would like to invite now Hank Rogers. He's the chairman of Blue Planet, the foundation, but also is the chairman of this ICES facilities in Hawaii, and also the president of the International Moon-Based Alliance. So tell us about EarthMoonMars, sustainable.
Okay. Yes, I'm from Hawaii. Not originally, I'm originally from the Netherlands, but I live in Hawaii. And I have 3 missions. Mission number 1 is to save this planet, and mission number 3 is to go to other planets. Mission number 3, more specifically, is to make a backup of life on Earth. And so to this end, I've been attending space conferences, and I have a plan to build moon base analogs in Hawaii, because the material of Hawaii is 90-something% the same as the material of the moon and Mars. It's oceanic rock. So I started this idea about building an international moon base alliance. And when I say international moon base alliance, I don't like the idea of why we went to the moon the last time, which was a space race. We were in a big race, and when we won the race, it was over, and then we didn't have a reason to stay on the moon. And so it's been 50 years for us not to go back to the moon, and it's kind of silly, because if you look at Earth, when we discover a new place, and Hawaii is one of the last places in the world to be discovered by ancient Polynesians on canoes, when we find a place that's suitable, we inhabit it and we colonize it. And so what happened, so I asked my daughter, I was talking to my daughter about, I have 2 daughters and 2 sons and 1 wife. Only 1 wife. And so my daughter goes to me, "Pops, why do you want to go to the moon?" And I said, well, because she sailed with me on a Polynesian voyaging canoe. It's a voyage where we sailed around the world using only celestial navigation. So before Europeans ever came to Hawaii, the Polynesians had already sailed everywhere. They knew how to go back and forth between Tahiti and Hawaii, which is thousands of miles of open ocean in canoes using celestial navigation. So I said, it's because we are voyagers. It's in our DNA. Just look, everywhere on this planet where we can survive, there are people. And it's because we explored, we voyaged, and we colonized all these places. And she goes, "Pops, do you have any idea how much damage we've caused to this planet with that stupid attitude?" So I had to rethink this. I had to rethink, why are we going to the moon? Why are we, what's the real reason? And I think I've come up with a more fundamental reason. And a lot of astronauts who've been to space, like Chiaki-san, look back on the Earth and they say, "Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful." That's the first thing they say. And the second thing is, "Oh my gosh, it's so fragile." And all of life as we know it lives on a thin skin, thinner than the skin of an apple, on the surface of this rock we call Earth. Let's give this thin skin a name. Let's call it Mother Earth. Well, here's the issue with Mother Earth. Mother Earth has occupied every possible biozone on this planet, from the bottom of the ocean, inside the rock, inside the air, everywhere. But we have no evidence of Mother Earth existing anywhere else except here on Earth. So what's going on? Mother Earth has never had a baby. So my new explanation is Mother Earth is pregnant, and we are it. We are the way that Mother Earth has a baby, and it is our job, it's a reason for our existence, to go to other planets and get Mother Earth started in other planets. And when we do, she will have had a baby, and by the way, we will have learned how to live sustainably, and we will bring that technology back to Earth, and then the temperature on Earth will go back down to where it should be, just like she's been pregnant for I don't know how many years now. It's time. It's time for us to move on, and this time when we go, it's not going to be a country. It's not going to be America or China or Russia. It's going to be everybody. And the idea of the International Moon Base Alliance is that we join together, all space agencies, all space companies, all space universities, and we all figure out how to do this together. Something like the United Nations or something like CERN. I think there are models in the world where we have international cooperation, and this is public-private cooperation and institutional cooperation, and we will all benefit, and we do this for all mankind, all of our children and the future generations to come. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
I've got a bunch of books on the front. Please come and pick them up afterwards. This is our moon-based conference that we had last October. And if anybody wants to go to the moon or Mars now, we can go and spend time in high seas. Bernard showed the pictures earlier. You're welcome.
Yeah, okay, excellent. Yeah, on Hawaii, you're a bit closer to the sky, and you can see also scenes that are similar to the moon and Mars. So indeed, before we bring all life form on the moon and Mars, we have to look back at our Earth. And I think it's very important to monitor it daily, and that's a challenge that PlanetLab, now Planet, has managed to accomplish for us. So I would like to call on Atiyeh to tell us, so what is your perspective, what is the planet perspective on how we connect Earth and involve everybody in the management of Earth?
Hello,
Atiyeh
everybody.
Jawad from Planet.
Hi, I'm Atiyeh Jawad from Planet, and I'm very grateful to be here today. I really liked Hank's analogy on we are the children of Mother Earth. And I think we not only are the children, but we make more children, and we make more and more children, and then we continue this race. And what we do in Planet is really write the history of what these children do. So Planet sent out or has actually launched about 300 satellites, and we have about 150 fully operational satellites currently in orbit, and they are taking images of the Earth every single day on every single point of the Earth. So the landmass of the Earth. Woohoo! Yeah. So the reason we do this is because we want to promote and understand what is happening back on Earth. So it's Earth observation satellites, and give back to humanity different aspects to make these, let's say, information more actionable and accessible to everybody. So I'll be talking more about the questions that are put up here, and I'm excited to pass the panel to talk to somebody else.
So we are continuing with some of this great statement from our speakers, and then we are going to go through some of the questions that you have voted for, and so some of that you can also post spontaneously. But I would like now to continue and give a perspective to Agata Kolodziejczyk. This is our neuroscientist on the panel, and she's exploring the brain, but also how the brain works in a situation where we are going outside of this Earth. And in particular, she has built for that a facility, Lunares, in Poland, where we are conducting some isolation campaigns. So Agata Kolodziejczyk is here. Now I have to say she didn't come alone. She came with Matt, and she came also with one of the youngest EarthMoonMars astronauts present here in the room. Yes.
Thank you, Bernard, for this nice introduction. Thank you all for coming. And yes, we built a habitat. I'm always highlighting it was not only me, it was the whole team. And here I would like to highlight that this space is for everyone, meaning for many people at once, for teams. We cannot be in space alone. Then we would feel very homesick, very bad. So we are the team. We are the team. Even different generations, we all are a team. And I would like also to highlight, using old Indian proverb, any ape can reach for a banana, but only humans can reach for the stars. And this means that we shouldn't find in space sector only money. You know, some people, naive people who are just entering this all big family of space people, they think that, yes, this is my way of earning money. I must say that money here in space is not the main force. The main force is our vision, is our huge risk and belief and hope that we can together protect our planet just by seeing from distance how fragile it is. And in our habitat, Lunares, we are developing smart solutions for living simple, for living with earning Earth resources. So we are building hydroponic systems, which everyone here on the planet can have, even in a small house. So each of us can have its own small garden. We can reuse, recycle the water. And this is our main goal, to show to the people here living on our great planet, the Mother Earth, that we can live more simple, that money cannot be the only force, the only power that we have. And that's what I would like to tell to you and share. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Bravo, Agata. Alexandra and Matt. They came as a family, as we are all bound here to this planet as a family. Now, I would like to ask Andrea Jaime. She has to go also on stage. You can stay here. She has an interesting, she was the executive director of the Space Generation Advisory Council. And I've met her also as an engineer. And she's now working with OHB as a manager. And so she was going to describe how through all this part of the career, how you could, as a youngster, contribute as well to this goal of connecting Earth, Moon, and Mars.
Thanks, Bernard. Indeed, I'm working right now at the OHB system, which basically we are a space industry. Our role into this exploration world is to build infrastructures to allow humans to go to space, either to the surface of the moon, Mars, Leo, and so on. So we build infrastructures. But as Bernard said, indeed, I had also a trajectory in my life. I did engineering. Then I worked with SGAC, and I understood by working with all these young professional network worldwide that space is indeed not just building infrastructures in an industry, but it's a common goal that has no borders, has no limits on disciplinarities. So it's certainly, we need all types of backgrounds here, not only engineers. And that was very inspirational to continue working. And in fact, now I know OHB system, although our main business is doing satellites, my job actually is to look for the business activities in human spaceflight and exploration, which I feel very lucky because in Europe it's not that straightforward that we lead into these topics, but I really hope one day we will lead, and I hope my company will be in the leading position there. I don't know if you wanted, Bernard, that I tackle this, how we to collaborate effectively, or yes. From our side industry, we are already developing some partnerships with other industries. For example, this week, we just signed an LOI with Blue Origin. So there's the interest to cooperate in the Blue Moon, by the way, so related to Moon in this case. Also, of course, we work with our customers, which are ESA and DLR, which are the national space agencies, but we also work with international agencies. For example, now we are part of the Gateway as well. So we are actually effectively collaborating between international agencies and industries, and I think it's a willingness in the space sector. So that's there. So I think we do it pretty effectively. We just maybe need to make it more visible, because, I mean, how many of you knew that we signed this LOI with Blue Origin? So maybe you don't know, but actually they are there. And coming to this conference like the IAC is the perfect occasion to effectively cooperate between all of us. So I think the means are there, we just need to fully utilize them.
Yeah, so I was involved in space generation in the foundation 19 years ago, and I've seen this succession of very brilliant young professionals, in particular women, which are very active in space generation. And in the new generation, we have Maria Grulich. So she's an engineer, and she has worked also at ESTEC, where I've seen her, but now she is also very active at DLR and with the Space Generation Advisory Council. So what is your perspective on Earth, Moon, Mars?
Thank you, Bernard. Hello. So thank you, Bernard, for this introduction. Thank you for inviting me here. So as you know, according to this IAC, we have our Space Generation Congress, where we actually invite young professionals and students to collaborate and to come together, discuss about specific topic related to the space and the space community, what is like the hot topic right now. And we had one which was about space society, and we figured out also what Andrea said, that basically we have a lack of awareness and this kind of gap between the general public and also the space industry. And we need to somehow have this vibe of this, what we all have here, this whole passion that we share. We have to get this vibe outside of our Congress here. And we also said that basically how we can tackle is that we should make more outreach and also have marketing that we even do even more, so which also would attract non-space actors. So as also the Google Lunar X Prize did, it triggered commercial companies to go back to the moon. And SJC, we have over 15,000 members, and we are in over 150 countries. And when you come to our events, you're going to experience that we all share the same passion. And then we have like 45 different countries, and we have 40% of women and 30% also people from emerging space leader countries. And we all work together. And I think when we go back to the moon, it shall not be one nation, it shall be humanity that achieves that. And also not just also more non-space actors, and also like to engage the general public and get this vibe out there. So that's, we said also that we have this inclusiveness, we have to be also more transparent, so maybe we should create like a global neutral platform to share what we all do together and share our research there, what we do, what kind of like we said, a Hall of Fame for space technology. So what we basically use of technology, what we develop for space, which we also use on Earth, and also maybe write down every company that is currently out there, startups. It's so much happening right now, but I'm in the space industry, I don't know all of them, so every time I come here, I get to know new startups, new people. And maybe we can create a platform where we all put it there and people can access it and see it. Or also talk a bit more. I mean, we all are so many, we're like 6,000 people. If you all would choose someone we haven't talked about space yet, we would reach also a lot of new people to get them engaged into space society. So, and also if you think you basically, we didn't tackle your questions or anything else, or in your country there's no space agency, we have actually a lot of workshops, also like in Asian Pacific, Africa, South America. And how did it happen? Basically, the people came to our events and then they went back to their countries, said we don't have anything there, and they started it themselves. And with SJC, we helped them to make these workshops happening, and also provide them maybe with then partnerships that we already have and get them all engaged. And also education is really important to us, so go back to your schools, universities, just talk about what you do, and give them just their time, and then already you can be the ambassador for space now.
Okay, thank you. So, I think you answered in the top popular question, how to collaborate effectively. Join SGSC. Is there room for us? I am above 35 years old, they say, but I went the other day and I mentioned that on Mars, the years is orbital year is 2 years, so I'm less than 35 years, so I can maybe join SGSC, as I love Mars. Now, I would like to ask, on this question, which is the most popular, Chiaki, because you have effectively worked a lot in space, how to cooperate effectively. So now, tell us, how can we improve? For instance, from a point of view of an astronaut, but also working with JAXA and other agencies. And we'll ask also Atiye from the Earth observation side to address this question.
Yeah, thank you, Bernard. But basically, the space is too big to fight with one person or one company or one nation. So if we want to do some big task or big mission, I think we need the diverse people to work together. That's how I think the astronaut, the Corps works together. Because when we fly into space, the mission is assigned. And then they will choose whatever the educational background of the astronaut. And then unless we work together, we will not be able to pursue more than 100% of the mission success. So that's the reason why.
Okay. So astronaut, we have to work together. No choice. You are on this orbital ship.
Yeah. The other issue is, you know that our life is very short. You want to learn quite a lot, and then I always welcome diversity, because if you find out the different people or different idea, you can learn from the difference. But similarity, we can cherish. But learning from the difference, the cherish similarity, learn from the difference. That's how we can work with the healthy competition. Like Olympians, we need the competitors to
Olympics.
make me stronger.
Olympics of space. Yes,
Yeah.
we have to learn. Now I would like to ask Ati, I mean, you don't need to have many countries to build your beautiful satellites. You did it all starting from a garage and a small companies with this vision of observing the Earth daily. So how do you collaborate then with other people all around the world?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank Chiaki because she's very inspirational and has always been a part of my inspiration as a woman. So the question actually is like, how do we actually collaborate as countries, agencies, and new stakeholders? And I would call ourselves new stakeholders in Planet. But if you see the role of each one of these players, let's say countries, I think countries should promote space activities. Agencies should really focus on driving science further. And I would see the new stakeholders really commercializing what we develop as an ecosystem. So it's all about working together, but knowing each one of our roles. And this is how we operate in the Earth observation industry. I'm representing Earth here, and this is what we see as Planet would actually help us advance and go ahead as humanity.
So new stakeholders. Oh yeah. So you want to say something?
Yeah, if I can add something to that, actually, we had there was a panel yesterday, and I think Michael Freilich from NASA mentioned that we always complain about the politicians, the political commitment, but at the end of the day, we are actually the political commitment. We are the ones who, almost in a lot of countries at least, we select our politicians, and then we have the power to push them. So actually I have a question also for the audience. How many of you, because this is very individually driven, how many of you, when you were back at your home, have done a talk at your high school, a talk at your city hall about space? How many have done that?
Very good.
Okay, but not so many. Actually, we should all have raised our hands. So I would encourage everybody to have an action item. You know, this could be like a meeting here. We are between space professionals. Action item for everybody. Go back to your hometown and set a cultural event in a bar, at the city hall, at your high school, at your school, and just talk about space, because we cannot always complain like how we can collaborate, how we can raise awareness. It has to be us, actually, who raise awareness individually, each one of us. We cannot let others to do it on our behalf. So please do so, and next year when we meet at the IAC in Washington, that we all can raise our hands, okay?
Good,
Yes?
excellent, let's do that. So actually on this point, okay, we are almost astronauts because we are on spaceship Earth, but we want to go to the next class. I want to have a higher grade later. But so who is going also, following that, to run into politics in order to promote, in fact, our vision as for science, engineering, sustainability? Who is planning to run for politics? We should be all politicians as well. We are the citizens. Now I would like to ask Hank. He has this great visionary, new ideas, perspective, sustainability of Earth. And so how do you say, how could we, on one hand, inject this in how we cooperate between countries, but also how we can use some of our infrastructures in the Earth-Moon sphere to achieve some of this goal of preserving our humanity and life on Earth.
By the way, there's two things I want to say before I answer your question. One is I want to thank the women in this panel for allowing a man on this
How do we do for gender balance?
Right on. And if we look back at the history of the planet, most of the leaders have been men, and I would say that we've been pretty poor stewards of this planet. And I think if we had women running what goes on forward on the Moon and Mars, I think that they would do a much, much better job than what we have done. I mean, just look at international waters.
Yeah. Okay.
Just wait, Hank. It's going to happen on
It's
Earth
going to
as
happen.
well.
It's going to happen. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But actually, we are half women. I want to unveil a secret.
That's right.
Yeah, we have one X chromosome, so at least we do
I'm
half as
woman
good
then.
as you. Okay, please.
Somebody asked me, I was in a bar once and with a couple of politicians, and I said to the other politicians, because they had to like do so much brown nosing, I couldn't believe it, and I said, I'm never going to become a politician. And the other politician laughed, and he said, Hank, you're already a politician.
So we are already a politician.
So we're already politicians. So, you know, when I speak to people, when I speak to other politicians, you know, I try to make them understand how important it is for the future of mankind that we do space exploration and that we do space colonization. These are all things, in the future, we'll look back, and if we did it in time, and when I say in time, we need to do it in time for us to be able to save this planet, because we're going in a very bad direction. My first objective is to make sure this Blue Planet Foundation is working to end the use of carbon-based fuel. And this is a key thing for our survival here. Now, we are going to survive without carbon-based fuel on the Moon and Mars, because there isn't any carbon-based fuel on the Moon or Mars. And we might as well get over it. Eventually, there's not going to be any carbon-based fuel on this planet. And when we learn how to live without it on other planets, and when we learn how to grow our own food without, and without creating garbage, those things are all things that we are going to be able to use on this planet to help future generations survive on this planet. If we don't learn how to live sustainably, we will not live on this planet going forward. Nature will be doing just fine without us. And I heard recently, even from the Trump administration, the transport, they said that they're predicting a 7-degree rise in temperature, even though the rest, it's like they don't know what they're talking about. But anyway, that is a real thing, you know, and when it happens, we are in serious trouble. So we have to turn this ship around. And I think it's more about women doing that than us guys, because we don't have a clue.
Good. So let's address the next popular question. What are the current Earth, Moon, Mars missions? So we have all the constellation of planets. You will launch more satellites than all of us together. But also there are great, bigger satellites that are being prepared, for instance, in the frame of ESA, Earth Explorer Program. We have a succession of science-driven or knowledge-driven satellites, but we have also the Copernicus, that's the Earth Observation, Earth Monitoring Program, which is funded by the European Union. And so there are a lot of launches in that. It's great for us to understand, to monitor the Earth, use it for all possible benefit, also to address sustainable development goals that Jackie mentioned at the beginning, and also keeps industry busy. So from OHB side or other industries, so what Earth observing satellite, and then we talk about Moon Mars.
Yeah, actually that's what I do in my job, to look into which are the programs that the agencies, different space actors are planning. Indeed, for Earth, you mentioned in Europe, of course, we have a company that is based in Europe. Copernicus is a big program. We also have other Earth observation satellites that are being developed, like all the Meteosats and so on. Then we are moving, we have the Earth observation, of course, navigation activities, but okay, this is another topic in telecommunication. Then we have the LEO program, which is our home in space, our immediate home in space. So we have the ISS program, which is an international endeavor. You all know about it. But the ISS is going to end very soon. So right now we are working into post-ISS LEO platform, because we believe, and our agencies believe, that we have to stay in LEO. So we're going to start thinking now, before it's too late, how we're going to continue having humans or access to LEO in the near term. Then we go a bit farther and we go to cislunar. And that's actually, we all know about the Gateway program that is being put up, another international endeavor. In Europe, we're working on different elements of the Gateway, like the habitat, the Esprit module, and so on. And that's an international collaboration also with Japan, US, Russia, and so on. And then from cislunar, we go to the moon. And on the moon, we are working with the Russians on the Luna 27 mission, I think is the name. We are also preparing on the first ISRU demo mission at the European Space Agency, which we try to use commercial services to go to the moon by 2025 and utilize the resources there, extracting water and oxygen. We want to try to find out if we can extract water and oxygen. And then if we go farther to Mars, so we cover the 3 ones, you all know by now the ExoMars mission that it's in Europe together with Russia. Right? Where also OHB is involved in that. We hope in 2 years we see it landing, the ExoMars rover. And we're already collaborating also with NASA on the Mars Sample Return mission. So actually, there is a nice roadmap that we are building up, and all the agencies are working together on the ISEC-G. They just published, it was this year or last year, the Global Exploration Roadmap. So, and you can all look at it, and then you will have an overview of all these missions that are actually currently in plan. And it's very beautiful because it covers Earth, Moon, Mars, and beyond, of course.
Oh, yeah, okay, very good. So in any case, okay, the engineers also, they do a bit of work. I mean, they built those satellites, so not only ISEC-G or EDUIG or whatever. The real hard work is done by the team of engineers, scientists, agencies that fund them, and also community, taxpayers, and also community that with whom we have to share the data. Particularly on Mars, we have a Mars Express. We are celebrating now 15 years of beautiful discovery for Mars Express. You know, discovering of ice on Mars, on a recent volcanism. We found a lake of liquid water in the poles now with a radar. Big discovery about the history of Mars, its habitability, the history of water. We had the ExoMars trace gas orbiter, which is now in operation. And we'll have the rover, Mars Sample Return, and other missions also from the US side, of course, with the Curiosity rover, with also the 2020 rover. And so a set of robotic missions also delivering data that we have also to share with the public to engage them. So even before we send astronauts to Mars, we need very, very much to use this data. You want to say something?
Yeah, actually, I
want
to make
on data, yes. Where can we find all the data?
Yeah, so if we go back to being on Earth, I think, and remember, Copernicus did a great thing to open and make all the data available to us as humans. I think what I want to say is that we have all this data that we're collecting also on with our missions that we are doing Earth observation on. What we see next is really to make this data useful, and I can't stop stressing on also going back to really how do we help Earth. I think once we make this data useful, it's terabytes of data that we download every day. It's how do we then take it to the next level, and this is what we're doing in Planet right now, making space and AI possible.
Oh, data, AI, okay, excellent. Now, what infrastructure in the Earth-Moon sphere or on the Moon-Mars surface to benefit multiple users? Agatha, you have been living on the Moon and Mars in the lunar race base. So now, what did you learn from that? And what type of infrastructure do we need to develop further and also towards the Moon-Mars habitat?
Well, as a biologist, I must say that still we have a radiation problem. So all material scientists here are asked to work hard and make some homework. What can we do to make better shelters for life, for a biological life, terrestrial life out there? Of course, we can send robots, but that's not the way what we would like to do, yes? So first, we had this problem, radiation problem. Maybe we can inject some genes into our bodies, human bodies, combine them with some tardigrades, I don't know, some nice proteins that are resistant to radiation. This is a task dedicated for biotechnologists, for doctors, medical doctors here. We all have full hands of work, basically, to make it real. I must also say that the largest problem is to sustain life out there. So this is very complex because still we really don't know the exact definition of life. You could ask how it is difficult to
to explain if you have different disciplines. If you are, let's say, a zoologist, you will give a different definition of life, ecologist, different definition of life, then evolutionist, a different definition of life. We have to find the common solution to protect life. And for this, we need to build bioreactors that are reliable. And especially all space engineers know that biology is a very risky business now in space. We need somehow to struggle in and to find the way how to sustain life out there. So, yeah. We have homework.
Yeah, very good. Actually, I wanted to go to Maria to address this together with the last question. So how to engage Earth community to support, but also invest. How can we get investors really to make it grow? So can you cover both questions?
So I try. So first of all, I think what is also missing is like the opportunities to go to moon, so that we have like kind of a driver that brings us there. So also for smaller companies, we see that they need basically just flight opportunities to bring their payloads over there. So like we have like Orion now, but we need even more. And once we have this all established, we can really have something on the moon and build up everything for the infrastructure and make also new science there. Also like for small payloads, but also like for humans. And then we can engage also the general public for the moon and get them more engaged and say we have maybe a permanent, we have someone out there for moon, which I think we haven't had for a long time. So then how can we get people invested? So just also outreach is a huge factor that we can address. So the moon and also like space in general is so popular. So even I heard that some of the smaller companies raised 90 million euros just also by advertising it, bringing non-space actors into the field, like airplanes, and they used like airplane companies to use that and say like, look, we can also bring you maybe to the moon in the future. And all of this can help to really engage the public and bring everyone together and bring us back to the moon.
Okay, excellent. So now we still have 10 minutes, and we are each going to have 30 seconds as a kind of statement, but also, as we have said, how do we engage people? So you mentioned, okay, a challenge, speak around you, go to classrooms, come and use Planet data for your project. Follow also all these life science activities that Jackie has mentioned. Come to Hawaii to help in this blue planet and moon base. Okay, start your company as well, or come and use also the Lunares. A lot of projects. We have also a team here, which we call EarthMoonMars, International Moon Base Alliance, that are also developing some really hands-on project in the lab, in the field, to promote also this vision, connect Earth, Moon, and Mars. So I would like to ask you to come on stage. The EarthMoonMars, the EMBA colleagues, come on stage to show that, yes, we are not only talking, we are trying to develop something. And while they come on stage, I would like to ask you to give like a 30-second statement on what do you see as a next step to connect Earth, Moon, Mars?
So maybe I start. So basically, my vision is to you, everybody here, the 6,000 people, today or next week, just go to someone we have never talked about space, like a stranger, and tell them what you did, what kind of space vibes. Get this virus out there, just explore your passion, and just talk about space and be the ambassador for space.
Yeah. Okay, so another 30 seconds.
Yeah, I can only agree to that. We should all be ambassadors. Actually, just I wanted to point out something with SGAC as well. We had the opportunity to give recommendations to the United Nations General Assembly, and one of the working groups actually wanted to propose that how we call it, like other planetary bodies settlement should be part of the agenda at the United Nations, because this is something that not only two countries have to talk about it, but everybody in the world. Like, it has to be humanity, as Maria said, going beyond Earth. Of course, discussing Earth, but going beyond Mars and Moon. So next time, again, you have the chance to give recommendations, to write a white paper on policy, just bring up this topic of going beyond Earth, taking care of Earth and going beyond, and put it in a big agenda at the United Nations, highlight which are the benefits in the Sustainable Development Goals. And that's very important, because we have to raise the voice. We are the only ones who can bring a change.
Yeah. Okay. Hank, your turn. Yeah.
Yeah, so when I talk to people about I'm going to the moon or going to Mars, many people say, why are you wasting this time? We should be focused on fixing this planet. And my answer to them is, it has to be twofold. One is, when we go to these other planets, we go with respect. We will not go and destroy the other planets. We will carefully tread, we will clean up where we make a mess, and we will live sustainably on these other planets. And then we will come back and say, every technology that I've said this before, but every technology that we develop to live on another planet will be crucial to us surviving on this planet. And so right now, there is no project which says how we're going to live sustainably on this planet. It's much easier to think how we're going to live sustainably on that planet, because it's a closed system. And what we need to realize is that this planet is also a closed system. And we need to all work together, and we all live in the same boat, and we all breathe the same air and drink the same water. So we need to be stewards of wherever we go, and we need to learn how to be stewards of where we are.
Okay, excellent.
Actually, Bernard, I have already talked about how we can engage people to the space. That is basically the connect people to the daily life. That is the one that if I just talk about my experience, the reason why I get into the space program was back in 1980s, the Japanese government was looking for somebody who just go to space to do some experiment. Then I thought at that time, wow, that's wonderful, because the space so far was only the big nations like US or Russia. And also I thought the space explorers is only aviators, but it's a scientist and the teachers or a medical doctor, etc. Then it made me realize, wow, thanks to the 21st century's technology, we can expand our daily life activities into space. Then at that time, I come up with some wonderful word, living and working in space. Then I realized, yes, I'm living on the Earth, but this environment is also a part of space. Why do we let's feel like I am living in space? Then it makes my life so energetic and lovely. I think these young people will have a lot of possibilities. So I think the Earth, only Earth, you limited, your activities is too limited. So you have to expand activities to the moon or Mars or whatever, thanks to the science. So that's what if we have some energy and then transmit that activities to the people like you mentioned, then I think people feel like, oh, yeah, this is a resource is very limited. We have to take a resource very efficiently and also expand our activities to space. That's what I think.
Okay, thank you. Atiye.
Okay, so I can't stress more than what everyone else said on the stage today. But I would like to add, you should make more space babies. We have Agatha's baby out there. What I think actually, if you go back to the Sustainable Development Goals, and I think it's such an important thing that we as members of society designed. I once heard my CEO, Will Marshall, say that if your startup is not working for one of these 17 Sustainable Development Goals, stop working on it. And I want to leave people with this message to really go back and look at each one of these goals. We are working on 13 out of those 17 and really maximize what we can do to make life on Earth also fine and fun.
Good, bravo. So, we are almost to close, but I want to give a chance to all of you. Can you, in 3 words, select 3 words, summarize what, so is that love, is that whatever, summarize what you think we have to do for bridging between Earth, Moon, Mars, and involving everyone. So I start with Stacy.
Dreams comes true with all together.
Yeah, wow. So that Yvette, she's our candidate astronaut for the EarthMoonMars, yeah?
We need to educate, inform, and inspire.
Okay. Angela.
I will say something funny. Let's make Earth flat again, but not in that way. But let's all go as one. So there are no leaders. We are all in this thing, all as the same, you know. So let's make a world flat again.
Very good. Benjamin is from a world explorer all over the world.
Thank you. I think about outreach, art, and sustainable development.
Okay, very good. So Mark is a geologist from Free University Amsterdam, and is building cement out of Moon and Mars soil.
Okay, so I'm going to use 6 words, I'm afraid.
Oh,
Earth, Moon, Mars, here we come.
Oh, okay, very good. So that's Bram. Bram is a coordinator of our EarthMoonMars team in Free University Amsterdam, in particular looking at experiments you could put in a Moon and Mars base, and we are going to test that in ICES, in Iceland, and in Switzerland.
Yeah, I think my 3 words are creativity, curiosity, and students.
Ah, students, okay. Very good. That's Marius. He's from a business school in Toulouse, and he's doing an internship also to help us to get money out of possible sponsors.
So I would say communicate and involve students.
Okay, excellent. Martin is from Free University Amsterdam, a geologist.
My words are evolve, teach, and learn.
Okay, excellent. Guido?
I think we have to reach more people outside of geology and other sciences to make them excited also about science, exploration, and space.
Okay. Stijn van Bloor?
I think I have 1 word, and it's adventure. I think this is a new adventure for us, and I think we have to be excited for it, for the future, for the humanity. So I think it's going to be a big adventure.
Adventure,
eventually.
but many other words, yes. Okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, yes, okay. Yes,
a little bit difficult, but I think belief, together, and equality also.
Okay, so this is, you see, they have even got the T-shirt. I launched a mission, I got the T-shirt after we launched it, but they have the T-shirt even at the start of the project. Now?
My name is Robin.
Robin?
I think enthusiasm and new life are my 3 words for this.
Very good. So this is Anna Sitnikova from Russia and Netherlands. And actually, she's coordinating another part, which is to involve arts. And she's an artist, and she has developed a number of projects like Moon Gallery, and also developed some workshops where we put Moon, Mars, space, artists all over. So we give you more than 3 words, yes.
I just want to say, join the Moon Gallery project and send your art and experiments to the moon.
Yeah, excellent. So that Carmen Felix, she's a candidate astronaut. She has done a lot of simulation all over the world, from Mexico.
3 words, I think collaboration, diversity, and education. Very important.
Yeah. So I would like now to ask Agatha to make your 30-second statement, and then we ask a few 3 other words. Yes, so Agatha?
Thank you. So I will tell like this. Think about your hobby, about your love, and lift it into space.
Very good. So I want to ask 3 words from Matt.
It's for her.
Yeah. And Alessandra?
Tata.
Tata?
Tata?
Bonjour. So yeah, she will work on the Moon and Mars, but we do it for her. Yes? So we want really to thank everybody for engaging. And now you have seen that, this is we continue on the legacy of what you have developed in space. So we have the planet, we had Chucky, astronaut and scientist, Hank Rogers, Blue Planet, and ICES. We have Andrea from OHB, we have Maria from DLR and from Space Generation, Agatha, and you see, they have already a team to support how we are going to work on the Sustainable Development Goals. Good. Thank you very much.